We're gonna try this again. Hi everybody, and welcome back to Just a Girl and Her Knitting. My name is Heather. I am coming to you from a rainy Spokane Valley, Washington. It's Monday. I almost said February. It's not February. April 13th. And I guess you can hear Sleeping Beauty. Let's jump right in and I guess get started on what we do. You can find me down below. I will link my Instagram, my Ravelry, my email, and my Etsy shop where I crank sock tubes for people. An Erlbacher Gerhardt Speedster. Anything else? I don't think so. I'm going to try to do this all in one go at it. So hopefully we will be successful at that. Let's see. I do want to pull up a couple of patterns. I guess not necessarily patterns, maybe photos. I'm trying something different. I'm filming on my iPad, so hopefully the quality isn't horrible. And then that way I can use my phone to show you guys pictures and links or pictures of stuff. Hopefully that will work better. And then I don't have to do as much editing. So we'll see. So I guess let's just jump right on in with finished objects. My first FO, I have two, are just going to be dishcloths. So here's two. Do you guys consider them finished if the ends aren't woven in? I'm considering them finished, and then I will actually give them to my mother-in-law to weave the ends in when we're out at the lake this summer, and then she can keep whatever she wants. That's how it goes. She weaves in ends, she keeps the rest. So the first one is just a Knit Picks Dishie dishcloth. Knit on the bias. I did on the last video, I wrote in what my pattern is for my dishcloths. And then here's the second one. I have been knitting these on walks when we take the baby. They've been really easy for walking. And I use my Chiaogu bamboo. I don't know if you'll be able to read the US 7 4.5 millimeter needle. I use a circular needle for my dishcloths. I used to knit them on straight needles, and then I don't know what changed, but now here we are on circular needles. But so those two are done. I have not cast on the next dishcloth because this is the state of my yarn. My little buddy got a hold of it and undid the cake. So I have to undo it and, you know, do it by hand, and then I'll cake it back up, I think. I have to untangle it. So my next FO, I guess those are the only two I have, unless you count my individual things, but technically it's what, anyways, it's a hoe, so a half finished object. I have a finished sock. So this is cranked on my 72 stitch cylinder on my Erlbacher Gerhardt. I crank a really long tube. I cranked 80 grams. I don't know why I held 20 grams back. I don't know what my thought process was behind that. If I do, I only usually hold back 10 for scrappy projects. But I did 20. Maybe my intention was to do the heel. I'm not sure, but so again, cranked on my Erlbacher Gerhardt Speedster on the 72 stitch cylinder. From my tube, I count down 20 rows, and then I knit a 2x2 rib for 15 rounds. I think it's weird how much yarn ribbing actually takes, because of 20 rounds, and then I did Ginny's surprisingly stretchy bind off. I counted back 20 rows, did my toe, I think it's just a regular wedge toe, and then I measured from the tip of my toe 9.5 inches, and then I cut in for my heel. So I do an afterthought heel. Actually, if you really are, these are considered afterthought everything socks, because the tube is cranked and then you go in and add all 3 elements afterwards: the cuff, the toe, and the heel. Cuff, toe, heel. And so I always do an afterthought everything. So I cut in my heel. I cut it in at 9.5 inches. Technically, so my husband wears a US size 14 shoe, men's shoe, and the length of his foot from his toes to his heels should be about 12 inches. I do about 1/2 inch of less. So I measure, your toe should be 2 inches. So from the tip of the toe, I measure 9.5 inches, and then I cut in. I do 5 rounds of plain knitting for the heel, and then I start my decreases. My decreases look exactly like my toe. My sock blockers. I still don't know where my other sock blockers are, but there's the toe. So that is my hoe, and my yarn I'm using for the contrast is just some Cascade, Heritage Prints, I think it was. It came in a cake. I bought it. Where did I think I got it at, I don't remember where I got it, honestly. I may have got it on one of our trips, one of our adventures, but it's just some scrap yarn. I'm trying to work through some of my scraps, especially my bigger ones. So, but, sorry. There's my hoe. So all I have finished are 2 dishcloths and 1 sock, which is fine. This week at work has been really a tough week where we have some new stuff that we have to do, and so that's been a lot of learning and a lot of trainings and meetings, and some of them I haven't been able to knit through because there's a lot of information, and so I'm struggling a little bit with it, but I'm sure it will be fine and I will be good to go back to normal. So we'll just jump right on into my whips. So my next whip is going to be the match to that sock I just showed you. So I guess here's a good example. I cut in for the heel. I did my 5 rounds of regular knitting, and now I'm working on the decrease rounds. Looks like a little mouth. I am using my Chiaogu red lace interchangeable needles. They're US size 1, and these are the 4-inch tips, so they're shorter tips. I don't know how much I love them, but this is what I had available, so this is what I'm working with. But again, I counted down 20 rows, did 15 rows of 2x2 ribbing, Ginny's surprisingly stretchy bind off, measured or took back 20 rows, did my toe. I did measure this time. So when I pull out for the toe, the 20 rounds is 3.6 grams of yarn. Once I finish my toe, I have 6.6 grams left. So it takes me right about 3 grams of yarn to do a toe. I would imagine the cuff and the heel are the same. So that's about 10 grams per sock. I was curious about it. I didn't think to measure for or weigh the heel before, but maybe next time when I do it, I'll do that. I have another sock tube ready to go that I'll show you guys. But this is I didn't tell you, this is the Yarnable January colorway for 2024. I had been test knitting a sock out of this color, and then I decided to rip it out since I am not in the mood to hand knit full socks anymore, which is fine. Maybe someday I'll get back into it. Maybe I won't. Who knows? Pattern socks are not for me right now. They do not make my heart happy. They do not make my hands happy. So that is a whip. My next whip, I haven't put much into it. Sorry, I'm reaching down below me. I haven't put much work in, but I have done a little bit on my jaunty. This is a pattern by Andrea Mowry, Drea Renee Knits, and this is knit out of my Handspun. So I've only done like maybe 3 rows, but thought I'd still show it to you guys. It's really fun. I think it'll be great for this fall and stuff when we're out at the lake, and I can wrap it around a few times and then I can cuddle up with it. I have it on my little, this is annoying, but it was windy the last few days when we were walking, and I was taking it with me and then it tangled and I got mad. This is my spoiled sheep yarn holder that I use when walking. And I don't remember if I said what size. I'm knitting this on my Chiaogu red lace interchangeable, or red lace needles. They're not interchangeable. US 2.75 millimeter needles. And this is Handspun that I made out of Weird Sisters wool and an 85% Polworth, 15% silk, and it's plied with a 100% Rambouillet, why I struggle with that word, from Peluche Yarn Company. The Rambouillet, Peluche Yarn Company is lemon is the colorway, and Weird Sisters wool was peachy keen. So one was yellow, one was peachy colors and yellow. So that's another whip. I try to get a few rounds on it every day. Not necessarily getting too far, but we're making it work. You just got a giant heather face. Sorry about that. So my next project is in a project bag that I made years ago, and it is going to be my squares, my granny squares for the Ariana cardigan. I think. I say I think because now I'm trying to decide if I want to make it just like this or if I want to maybe modify it a little bit. Don't know how I'm going to modify it because I don't know how to do crochet very well, but here it is. It's a crochet cardigan. Let me see. Oh, we don't need that. So it's a crochet cardigan, granny square cardigan, and then you pick up and you knit the ribbing. Sorry about that. She woke up for a second, but I got her back to sleep. But anyways, where I was at, you crochet all the granny squares, and there's some half granny squares, and then you knit the ribbing around the collar ribbing, button band, the bottom ribbing, and the sleeves. I don't know exactly if I'm going to, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get through my granny squares first. So I showed you a whole stack last week. Well, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 more. So these are all DK weight. I'm using my Tulip Atimo crochet hook. So this is the Raven colorway by Yarnable. These are all my DK Yarnable scraps except for a couple. I don't remember the color of this one, but I showed you guys some of these. I did end up making another square. So you crochet 5 granny clusters, I guess is how you do it. I think it's supposed to be about 5 inches, the granny square. I did this one last weekend, or last week I knit one, so I have 3 of this and 3 of this one. Here's this one. Here's a green. Oh, that's backwards. Here's a green. So I'm trying every day this little mint colored one. I think I have enough to knit or crochet another one out of this. I'll have to look at this stuff. I'm trying to do one every day. It takes me about 10 minutes. So yeah, so I have that one and that one I think I might be able to get another one out of. Each one takes 8 grams, so I'm gonna weigh it. But here's this one. I really like this color. I don't remember the color, what the color name was on this one, but this one's pretty. I have 3 of them. That one looks small. Nope, that's fine. I have to figure out how I'm gonna block these. Do they make blocking things for crochet? I don't know. Do I just block them? No, I don't want to block them on my blocking mats because my friend likes to try and help. So here's a green one, another green one, a yellow one. This was a contrast color from 2024 and the DK. Is it 24 or 23? Now I don't know. Now I'm questioning myself. I don't know. I'll have to look. Because this is in my Habitation anthology throw as a contrast. And then this one is Weird Sisters wool in Shark Week. So DK, I made Dill a sweater when he was first born, when he was a baby out of that. So I'm making progress. I have a feeling it might take me forever to weave in all the ends on these, but again, that will be a great, just random project. So I have, these are all the ones I showed you last week. So I don't know how many I have. Should I count them? I know I need 68 total. I have 2 yarns left to do. I have this really pretty color. This is a leftover. And then I'm working on one in this right now. You can see I have it started. So let's count them, shall we? That's 14, 20, 30. I have 30 so far of 68. 60 for the 60 whole squares and 8 half granny squares. So we're chugging along. Let's see, we'll make it. If I do 1 a day every morning, that's 7 a day. Not too bad. I did more than 7 last week, so here we are. So that's whip, I don't know what number that is. 1, 2, 3 maybe. So my next whip is my test knit. It's the Duotone V-neck by Rachel Costello. I called it the Duo V last week. I don't know what I was thinking. Obviously it wasn't. I am using Two Springs Fiber Arts in the 75% Baby Surrey, 25 Baby Surrey Alpaca, 25% Silk, the colorway Bliss, and I'm using her Superwash Merino Wool 25% recycled nylon in the colorway Moon. I don't know what her Superwash base is, but this is Moon and this is Bliss. So I have, I always get itchy. I have a mess, but I'll show you what I have. So I don't remember where I was last week. I know I had the back done, but I have managed to finish the right front, the left front, and I have it joined started on the joins. This is cool, but also, it's cool, but not, I guess, because I find in knitting, there's a lot of things I hate. I hate mohair. I hate mohair, we figured that out. Surrey's right up there with the mohair. And I've never been a fan of I-cords, but I love the look of them. But you do an I-cord to join your sleeves together, your sleeves with your back. The V-neck is then going to have, I don't want to move my chair, I don't want to wake her up, but you're gonna pick up all the stitches around your V-neck. Let's see if I can do it this way. And then you're gonna do an I-cord bind off around it. That's gonna be your neckline. And then when you finish, you do a high-low hem, you're gonna do an I-cord all the way around with no ribbing. I don't like ribbing either. There's a lot of things I don't like. But, and then a few details. So when you're selecting your yarn, you're supposed to pick 2 lace weights in contrasting colors. Like the example has like a pink and a green. I can show you. Let me pull it up. I opted to not do the contrast, but instead I just got 2 colors that are very similar. So you won't see my I-cord as much, but you I-cord down the middle, and then, so your V-neck has an I-cord on it, your sleeves are gonna have an I-cord, the bottom is gonna have an I-cord, and a high-low hem. So, like you can see on the back, there's also, this one's a faux I-cord because you're just slipping stitches to create it. But there it is, forming. And I am knitting size 9. It's supposed to be 60. It's a good thing I have my iPhone this time. Although I am gonna have to edit because I had to take care of the baby for a second. Size 9 is going to be a 69.5-inch bust when finished. So, but here it is. I'm chugging along. The I-cord was both fun and annoying. It went quicker than I expected, but here it is. I'm curious to see how big this is going to be on me, because this is going to be quite a bit of positive ease. It's going to be about 19 inches of positive ease. I measured myself before I started this, and I'm at a 50-inch bust. Usually it's 46, right now it's 50. So it'll be 19 inches of positive ease, but that's okay, right? Like, I know it's hard to see, but here it is. You can see my I-cord down the middle, and it's gonna join in the V-neck. But here it is, just working away. I'm on Body Island. I don't have to do sleeves, so that's great. So hopefully I'll make some progress again on this. And then my last whip, not even a whip because that's not really started. So I went ahead and I cranked a sock tube. So again, if you were to order sock tubes from me, this is how they come. Waste yarn, a whole tube, waste yarn. And then I just put my needles in here, unravel my waste yarn, knit what I need, do the same on this end, measure it in half, and then cut one strand and unravel. Add toes, heels, and cuffs. So this would be considered an afterthought everything sock. So this is gonna be my next sock tube that I put on my needles after I finish the ones I'm working on. And this is a Zauberball Crazy. I've already made socks for my husband out of it, and this is what I had left. This was like 50 grams. So they'll probably be shorties. And lastly, I have a finished spin. So this was Two Springs Fiber Arts. Again, the colorway is Stardust. It's an 80% superwash Shanika wool, 20% Stellina. I got it finished and plied last night. I have not soaked it and whacked it, basically beat it up against a counter, but here it is. I did a chain ply, so I plied this up on my electric eel wheel, electric eel wheel 6.1. I do have the nanos, I have two. I have the original and I have, I think, 1.1, maybe 2, I don't remember. I backed the Kickstarter. But I spun it on my electric eel wheel nano. Nope, my electric eel wheel 6.1. And this is what the single looked like. Oh, it's blowing out. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, well, I have to edit anyway, so maybe I'll pop in pictures. So I spun this incredibly fine. And then I did a chain ply, which I haven't done a chain ply in a really long time. And getting started was tough, but once I got it, I think it turned out pretty well. Hopefully you can see it. But it's got sparkles. It's definitely a fingering weight. I'm curious, like I said, I haven't washed it. I'm curious to see how it's gonna bloom, but as of right now, it's a fingering weight. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. Are there some pigtails in it? 100%. Did I break some of the yarn and have to tie a knot and hope I could figure out how to get back onto chain plying? Absolutely. But did I get it finished? Yes, I did. So I think it turned out really pretty. So I think I'm going to go put it in a bath later today, and then I'll get it hung up and everything, and then I can run it through my yardage counter and see exactly how many yards I got. I counted it on my Nitty Naughty, and I'm pretty sure that I miscounted. It says there were 700 yards. I don't believe that. But here it is. So, and right now I'm working on some 100% alpaca to go with the other alpaca that I spun up for something for my mother-in-law. I'm not sure yet what it's gonna be. I just started it last night. So, but yeah, there it is. I think it's fun. I'm probably gonna make socks out of it. We'll see. I need to decide if I need to get some nylon, like some nylon thread to, when I crank it on my circular soft knitting machine, to almost looks professional. Almost. I need to decide if I'm gonna get some nylon thread to crank it so that it adds a little bit more sturdiness. We'll see. I haven't done much research into finding that yet, but we'll figure it out. But I think that's all I have for projects. It's been a busy weekend for us. We got our bathroom finished. All the drywall's back in, the washer and dryer, the floor is in. So that's exciting. But we worked a lot on that this weekend. We had a birthday dinner. What else? I have some more projects I'm gonna frog. I have 3 of them. 2 shawls and a sock. I decided I'm not gonna do them at all. And I have to figure out what to do with the yarn because I spent a lot of money on that yarn. One is 5 colors. The socks are scraps, so that's not a big deal. The other one is 2 colors, and it's a single ply, so I don't know. I need to figure out what I'm gonna do with them. But anyways, I am going to keep plugging along on my projects, keep working on my crochet granny squares for my cardigan I'm working on my Duotone V-neck. I think the test knit ends in May. I need to double check that. But I have, I think, 8 inches on the body that I need to knit for, so hopefully I'll just be able to plug through it now that I got the shoulders added. I am I'm doing helical knitting currently because you cast on the back, you knit it, and then you do your 2 fronts, you knit those. Well, I had all that yarn from my fronts because I use the same ball. So when I joined in the round, I wanted to use up both sets of yarn, and then I'll get out the next one, and I'll probably do helical knitting for a few rounds, and then I'll switch to just that one. So I have 4 balls of yarn, and 2 of them are just Surrey, and it is a nightmare. So I can't wait to be done with all of that, and then I'm just back to 2 balls of yarn. But other than that, I think I'm done. I think I've talked about everything I wanted to talk about. I don't have any plans for this weekend. We're just going to keep working on the house, hanging out with the baby, trying to get my knitting done. So I guess I will talk to you guys later. Have a great day, a great weekend. Have fun with your knitting, your crocheting, whatever crafty thing that you work on. And I will see you next time. Bye.